Hello, I am Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are back to finish the rest of the Intervallo here. Last time we left off, we got all the way to the final boss of the Fathoms here.
이런 임무는 뱀 중에서도 내가 제일이지.
Like prey backed against the cliff's edge, I am left bereft of paths. My hand hesitates with no room to place the stone. Misjudgments burgeon when contemplations harrow the mind indeed. Now all that remains is to neutralize that one enemy combatant in the yard. Tell me, who's waiting for us in there? You should know. This place and its enemies are projections of your memories. Not the hardest guess to make, is it? I expect to find Gyeong-yop in there. Gyeong-yop is a woman of loyalty and principles. Even as a military commissioner, she never stopped wanting to change the way the royal court was. But even she must have broken in the end. I scoured the newspaper and TV for anything I could find on the current state of S Corp, but it was plain as day that nothing had changed there since my departure. Mentor, is that not but a baseless speculation? Your concerns groan uncontrollably. Never have you spoken to us about such a monstrous one in the past. Thus what lies before you is but a figment of the distortion reflecting upon your memories. Did this Gyeong-yop appear as the monster does, Mentor? No. Gyeong-yop wasn't like that. Gyeong-yop, I still believe that the Salpipio agro-industries deserves to die. But destruction's not the point. The point is, I want it to be a place where I can cut away the avaricious, corrupted, and have it be a wing that cares for its common folk. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought you were seeking to supplant the current S Corp. You know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just a wanderer floating down the river's flow to where the currents take him. When the river bent and I hit a wall, someone picked me up and made a blade out of me. Once abandoned, I returned to the flow and found myself a mentor to those who afforded me the undeserved faith. And the river continues to wind, carrying me back to S Corp once I had fled. Shall I let the blade sing my inner thoughts? You think I'm satisfied with the way S Corp is? But your method, as it is now, goes against the principles. I expected better from someone of your wiles. If you enjoy those principles so much, then why ask me to leave the game? Because someone who has to stay behind and try to bring change within the limit. Because someone has to stay behind and try to bring change within the limits of their principles. I only hoped that one of those bends in the river of yours would flow you back to knock on the gates of S Corp once it was primed for change. Has that changed? What do you think? You at least seem to know that I have. Because you believe that I shall stand in your path. Stand in my path. And stem the flow of the river evermore. Verily well. The law states that denial of the will of the royal court is a crime deserving of death by beheading. I am Gyeong-yop, second ordinand of the Salpipio Agro-Industries, official of the sword and military commissioner of the royal court, shall uphold the command and sever the buds of revolution before they propagate.
Limbus Company の皆さんとご一緒できて本当に嬉しいです。
전부 잡아들이죠.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
Alrighty, well, let's see what we can do here.
검은 아직 벼려 있어.
Okay, that passive isn't too useful.
그려낸 대로.
Damn it, that didn't use the ego I wanted it to.
소리와 호흡을 멈추고.
We are doing really good damage so far.
곱게 접은 종이에 던졌으니 식구의 하늘 용이 되어 빈 벼로에 남았구나.
처음으로 숨통이 튀었던 순간을 기억하나요? 전 지금이군요.
육청.
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 것.
敵の調子が悪くなっているみたいです。
발광 차단. 원망도 뉘우친 게 소용이 없었으니 그저 무언가를 잡으려 애썼을 뿐.
감정 확보.
아름다운 것, 그렇지 않은 것.
God damn it.
Minasan, しっかりしてください.
그려는 대로.
I didn't want to take the massive AoE attack even if it would have procced to claim their bones.
귀와 요격, 전형 삼수, 상전, 정민화. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라.
감정 확보.
미리 경계를 살피고 있었죠.
God damn it, I really did not want to stagger in there.
전부 잡아드리죠. 순수를
이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 발광 차단.
별을 잊지 못함이 속을
Okay, that was absolutely not worth it there.
이 순간이 다하도록 되어내리라.
Or maybe it was worth it because we just won there. He's not as powerful as I recall, yet weighed down by the brand, I'm also not so far ahead or behind. I don't know, I think you're doing pretty well. Verily, they appear evenly matched, yet he's wielding that sword like he's trying to get himself killed. That blade work is far beneath him, seeking the end here, is he? Can you afford to look away in a duel? What are you doing? You'd rather lock your sword with mine than parry it away. Can't have a proper sword fight without a blade lock, though. The duel between the mentor of a syndicate and a military commissioner of S Corp is a neck-to-neck clash after clash. The two warriors eventually lock their blades in a contest of might before it comes to a close in a final, fatal bout. When the dust settles, the mentor lies in the sand dead. If that's what you want, I will grant it. Good, let's finish this. Just as Bamboo-Hatted Kim and Mgyeong-Yop readied for their final bout, Hangdu leaped in between them. Hangdu, are you really so ashamed that you would choose death over life, mentor? Are you so scared to live that you would rather die? Yes, I am. I am scared. I'm terrified by my own audacity to live my days as though I haven't failed everything and everyone who had ever had the misfortune of placing their faith in me. My mission, my honor, my fellows, as though my path isn't haunted by ghosts, as though I can't stand shamelessly before the watching eyes of the heavens. What have I even done with the life that was given to me? Blind to the realities of my homeland, I served a master who chose politics over loyalty and justice. I cut down my very fellows who chose to trust a fool like me. I walked my entire life as the flow carried me, and when I finally had the mind to look back, all I saw were blood-red traces everywhere I had gone. Isn't it about time I admitted that this game cannot be won, that... Mentor, the weakness in your strength has failed your mission. The weakness in your position has failed your honor, and the weakness in your heart has become the fiendish blade that cut down your fellows. And you, I thought you were here to talk me into keep on living, yet your words pain me so. That weakness of yours is it this time, that you would cast away your own creed and lies. What other weaknesses will you use as an excuse today? Drop trying to bear responsibilities asked not of you. The Blade lineage was never about responsibility, nor was it about you, mentor. Or does your overindulging guilt help you overestimate your importance? What was that saying again? Fellow travelers in the same boat will aid one another? Not a single soul demanded that of you. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. And I have had enough of that flippin' larking of yours. We all have. Do you truly believe that not a single one of us has picked up on the fact that your levity is a means of relieving yourself of the burden you had cast upon your own shoulders? None of us ever demanded some impossible feat of you. What was it that you always said to describe yourself? That you are but a butchering blade that wields not itself, a tool wielded by willing hands? Why, mentor, I know not what kind of shame or responsibilities a mere tool has, do you? Because I fail to see any. If the shame does not subside still, then shroud your face with that bamboo hat of yours and live on. Live on so that you may repay your debts. Out of blades, out of arrows. Even the heart that sought death lies defeated at your feet. There's no stone left for my next gambit. There is nothing more. Indeed, perhaps there was some merit in your words. Then I must retreat from this silly game of stones and become a fiend of blades. Mentor, that is not what I said. Interesting. Whence did you hear that poem? Yes, inverted, a bamboo hat is like an unladen ship. Enku and Im Gyeong Yap were knocked away by bamboo-hatted Kim as though bounced off an invisible force. Kim raised his gaze to meet the empty air as though someone were there. A hollow laughter escaped his lips. We know who he's talking to. It's the voice. But your last move was not a good one. Indeed, I did wish to become a blade, and what did you do? Forge me into an indiscriminate one that cleaves blindly into friend and foe both. It seems that, in your excitement, you have cornered yourself with that last move. Well, as it seems that I have had an opportunity to retrace our past moves, allow me to try something different this time. Be not so vexed by this round, as ye say. We never know what the next game shall bring. I appreciate and will treasure the other bits of your advice, but let us play by my rules for tonight's game. Something's different this time, innit? He ain't distorting. I think that's an efflorescence, perhaps. Nothing is for certain, indeed, yet I trust that the words of my last remaining follower have also reached your ears. I am but a tool wielded by willing hands. Nothing in my life has ever been certain. I know not whether this move is why it cements my defeat, but I desire it to be a victorious stone nonetheless. Thank you. I will take what encouragement I can. The strange invisible pressure dissipates in the armored woman, and Moon Gyeong Yap readjusts her grip on the sword. Kim turned around to look at her, and I saw that a weighty shadow seemed to have been lifted from his face, reflected by a mix of relief and determination. A bit embarrassing to change my stance now, but now I fight to live. And I suppose you will be okay with that. Of course. To hide from the heavens' gaze this hat I wore. An empty boat it bore my friends along. And bamboo veiled we drift from shore to shore. With wine I doff my hat to watch balloons throng. In mirth I doff that shroud to moon adore. So with this bamboo hat to veil my brow, though winds and rain may rage, I shall not throw. Hi to me, bamboo-hatted one, speak your name, for I find your outfit dubious of character. I am he who has mentored the lineage of blades to its premature end. I am he who has sought to bring salvation to the downtrodden to no avail. What to call a man who has failed to disburden himself of the world? How to name a man who has failed to bear the weight of the world? There is none. So call me Bamboo-Hatted Kim. Bamboo-Hatted Kim, the treasonous wretch. The photographs rapidly fold away from reality. Perhaps because Kim had successfully managed to face his own past. When the photographs and memories that were overlaid over the fathoms were pulled away, what remains is a man in dirty, ragged clothing. The fathoms of S Corp slowly lose grip on this world, and soon reveals the fathoms of the distortion that was hidden beneath it. I see residents of the backstreets and their blissful highs from taking the canned experiences, and a man who is watching them with disapproval. Why? Why is everyone running away from all this? A baker always surrounded by the smell of freshly baked bread. A florist who makes lovely bouquets for graduating youngsters. A photographer who captures beautiful sights to remember. They're our lives, our experiences. You want to be a billionaire with an extravagant mansion and a nest? A legendary fixer who can make the syndicates cower in fear just by going on a stroll? What you get from those cans is not real. Is everything in your lives, all of this, just empty means to an end so you can get high on fake purchased experiences nailed into a can? If that's all your life is, then my life and the photographs I've taken are all... No, it can't be. My life. Those experiences and memories I photographed are different. You're all blindingly consuming fake experience after fake experience without a care about the real thing. That's why you're all floundering, grasping at illusions. So let me show you the things I've shot. The memories, the experiences, the reality of your lives. It was only in passing, but I glimpsed an unmistakable grimace, a scowl on Merceau's face. I reflected upon the events of today and could at least begin to guess at why that might be. You don't believe there's any experience in either the canned experience or that guy's photographs, do you, Merceau? Because experiences and memories aren't the same thing. What really distinguishes them, I wasn't sure. Correct, manager. But what I knew was that the distinction was, for whatever reason, important to Merceau. A figure materializes into a humanoid form, swirling out of the projector. He must be the distortions. And next to him is another figure, stumbling out in a giant suit of armor. Blimey, that thing's still alive. It is but an overlay of fathoms created within a distorted space. The concept of life and death has little meaning for such a thing. Yet faint does she glow, it must be that the distortion's power is waning. Hark, accused one, for these are your crimes. The crime of fomenting chaos in a foreign wing while impersonating Chinokuns of Salpipio Agro-Industries. The crime of exploiting the suffering of Salpipio Agro-Industries downtrodden as a mere veil for one's own fathoms. And, though it be but a part of the reenactment, impersonating a military commissioner of the kingdom without the royal decree. Pursuant to the law of the homeland, the accused is to be sentenced to death by beheading. And before we even had the chance to step in or anything, the faint mirage of warrior brought down her sword to the dockographer's neck, decapitating him. And an entity of the fathoms slay one outside it. Such an instance has heretofore never been observed, but as it is happening right now, right before our eyes, I can only say yes. Gong Yap is a woman of principle. She would have done the same to the bitter end had she truly been here. As the headless body of the inflection point crumbles to the floor, and Gong Yap's shape slowly phases out of reality, and we found ourselves back in the projection room. And there... No way, don't tell me that headless corpse is... We found a large group of injured in-corp staff thrown pell-mell about the room, and Ezra, who was looking down at the headless body of the decographer.
돌아오고 있어요. 뒤틀림에서 다시 사람의 형상으로. 살수의 방식으로는 절대 도달하지 못했을 결과일 테죠. 이젠 좀 알 것 같네요. S사로 떠나기 전까지 제가 현장 추리팀에서 무엇을 배워가면 좋을지.
And here we go. This should be the final level now. Yeah, right on. Gotcha, team leader. And that's the initial report done. Good work, guys. Hooking our radio back in has recommended us in a relieved voice. The distortion has perished in the mission. Will that not cause trouble? Yeah, that kinda sucks, but it's not like you guys could help it. Who would have thought that the distortion would kill its own inflection point? If we knew that in advance, we probably would have prepared something to stop it, but... well, that's for the LCD and team leader to investigate. All in all, the mission was still a success since we managed to eradicate the distortion from S Corp, not to mention satisfying our client. Also, Ezra looked toward Engdu and Kim with a lighthearted shrug, clearly less concerned than she had been earlier. Now that I finally know why you've been disappearing on your own without letting us know, glad you don't seem to have any more reason to, though, so it's all good. Hey, that's the real win of this mission in my book. Yui, the point is, we did it. We did the thing. It's done. Gosh, I swear, I'm never doing one of these without the team leader ever again. Seriously, I got this close to losing it more than a few times. It seemed that the responsibility of looking after her LCD juniors had kept her stressed and high-strung throughout the mission. I hadn't noticed it, but her brows had finally relaxed, bringing back the chipper Ezra I was more familiar with. Thus, I shall not abide by more of your indolence. You will now join us on missions and tasks as you are expected to. Is that understood, Mentor? I do. Would you mind releasing the hems of my sleeve? Oh, what I want to give to lie down and pass out right about now. The raw emotion in Kim's voice has likewise faded, and with Engdu's voice no longer as barbed as it had been in the Fathoms, it seemed to me the two were back to more relaxed selves I knew. Can't exactly say more relaxed for Kim though, 'cause that's how he's always been, at least from what I've seen in any case. Fine, you are released. You've given me a good, hard shake. I don't feel so good. Say, Engdu, I'm afraid you may have gone overboard without grating your arm. With your hem released, allow me to reiterate that... my heart finds peace as well as I watch them bicker. Was everyone doing okay? Yes, Executive Manager. Our forces have only suffered minor injuries and do not require you to go through the trouble of rewinding the clock. Hang on, mate, I've got a dislocated shoulder. I can pop that right back into place for you. Allow me. I've taken care of similar injuries in the field. Yeah, and guess what happened the last time I let you do that? You rotated my bloody arm the wrong way and turned my bones in my shoulder into little chips. Don't sweat it, I can rewind that. By now I've already grown used to the pain of rewinding the sinner's injuries. The dislocated shoulder shouldn't be a big deal. I have ought to ask thee a clarification, if thou will. Yeah? Dost thou recall how, as we battled the S Corp's penframe team, the foes have taken photographs of us? Yeah, and... there are those who were sent to identify and capture the one who had violated a taboo, forsooth. As we stood in their path, 'tis no mystery why we had come to blows, yet I find this to be most perplexing. Wherefore did they take so many photographs of us? Maybe they were being photographs. Maybe they were taking photographs to record their locations. Recording footage is taboo in S Corp, meaning they can't install security cameras here. Their only option for keeping a consistent record when tracking down a case or a person is by photographs. Thine words hold water, yet most puzzling, forsooth. For I recall that with clarity, from a certain point, they had begun photographing us with renewed obsession. Hey, that sounds like a question for Marceau. Given how often I had to rely on the information Marceau had provided me in the mission, I think I've gotten enough practice to know how to phrase my question the right way and pull the answers I need from him. I couldn't get him to tell us his own judgments on matters, but since he seems to have a near photographic memory of what he's saying... Marceau, do you remember how many pictures of us the S Corp staff took? I do, 46 times. That is a lot of pictures. You actually remember the exact number of times they shot us? I do. It's always so neat seeing his memory in action. So did you get the chance to see which one of us got the most photographs taken? I did. Who is it? Is it me? I make for a fine model if I do say so myself. No, it wasn't you. It was me. But why? I mean, what's the most statistically likely reason that it was you? It was at that moment I heard the sound of pebbles crunching under boots approaching us louder and louder. What the heck? S Corp. Oh dang it, are you here because we beat up some of your guys? Listen here, we had to, because of the distortion, see? It is as she says, the skirmish was an unfortunate consequence of combating the distortion phenomenon. Limbus Company provides a customer damage compensation program in case of such unforeseen events. Instead of engaging us in battle, please elect to contact the emergency response team at our headquarters as your first. Yes, we're fully aware of the circumstances surrounding the battle, and we intend to submit an expeditious request for damage compensation, as you have recommended. But we are here on different business, so if you would be so kind as to let us speak. Different business? They're here to arrest me, manager. Hold on, Marceau, let's hear them out. Wait, what? Marceau did not resist. He walked past us and joined the group of S Corp employees. Please confirm that you are Marceau, formerly One Who Nails, and a former member of the maintenance and management team at the Grand Magician's the Scythe headquarters. Confirmed. By the decree of the Giants, you have been expelled from S Corp with imprisonment as the penalty for non-compliance. Pursuant to Article 12 of the eviction regulations, you have also been informed that remaining in S Corp's district for more than 6 hours may subject you to immediate arrest. Please confirm that your memory pertaining to the above incidents has not been expunged and you are of sound mind to recall in its entirety. Confirmed. Very well. Then in keeping with the regulations, I hereby notify you that you are now subject to arrest and transport. Place your hands behind your back and please offer no resistance. I am required to inform you that resistance may incur further penalties. Wait, stop. What the hell is going on? Wait, forget all that. Did you know this would happen, Marceau? Marceau, who stood calmly with his arms behind his back as the S Corp employees handcuffed him, nodded placidly in my direction. I did, manager. Then why the heck didn't you warn? It was less of a question, more of a reflex, but I didn't need to hear his reply to know why. Right, I never asked, did I? You did not. I'd say you should have warned us way earlier, but you just reply, I will follow these instructions going forward, right? Yes, I would. Subject now in custody. From this moment onward, you are considered a suspect and will be transported to S Corp headquarters for your trial. As for the rest of you, would you be the organization the suspect is a part of? Organize your arse, and what bloody hell do you think you're... Heathcliff, you're about to antagonize S Corp, a win. In the absence of a reasonably justifiable cause, such as a contract, engaging in battle with the city's corporate entities is strongly discouraged. Yeah, and we're just supposed to twiddle our thumbs while they drag him away. This must be another piece of information they neglected to tell me. Yet another development that was set in stone. Despite her calm and collected explanation, I could tell this was not a pleasant situation for Faust either, as she was sending an uncomfortable gaze to the S Corp employees. So where are you taking him? A retrial will be scheduled for the execution of the exile sentence, they replied dispassionately as they took Miss Marceau into custody. We looked back at them, not knowing what to do or say. The late afternoon sun pricked at us like 1,000 hot needles. Marceau, now in cuffs, glanced at us with an expression that would not have seemed out of place on any ordinary day. And I imagine that will be leading into the next canto. Does that mean we won't have Marceau for the next Walpurgis Night event, or will there just not be a story to go along with it again? Anyway, yeah, that will be the end of the Intervallo. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time when we... I suppose it will probably be the Walpurgis event or the Refraction Railway if I get around to doing it. But yeah, until then, I will see you next time. Bye!